So, guys, welcome to B Sports Picks. So, yesterday we had it broke our streak. We were on a 5 day winning streak. I was sharing some videos. I shared a lot of plays, and we've been winning. Like the last 4 or 5 days, I gave away free winners, and then yesterday the Kings messed that up. So it broke our streak. Like I said, we were on a 5 day winning streak, and then yesterday that came to an end. I'm going to show you some numbers here, and then I'm going to get into the NBA slate. I have not decided exactly how I'm going to play any of this stuff. I've been very busy with some stuff that I'm going to show you, but there is like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 different plays that I'm going to go through, and I'll actually be going through it with you on how I decide on stuff. I'm not sure if I'm not sure on the numbers yet, so don't quote me on what I'm talking here. Just take a look at what I'm looking at. Okay, let me just get started so you can see what I'm talking about, and then we can go from there. So let me. So yesterday was a 7. Sorry. Yesterday was a 10-7 day. It finally broke our streak. We were on a 5 day winning streak. Yesterday that came to an end. So on the overall picture, just in the overall last 6 days, we were on a massive run, and the 7 killed it. But again, it's 72-19 in the last 6 days with a 79% hit rate. And a lot of these have come from live betting. So the live betting, another thing that I realized yesterday is that I started doing stuff differently. So I already took notes on what I'm going to change. One of those things that I was taking them very early in the day instead of waiting until the fourth quarter. So what's up, man? Thanks for the great info, great hit rate. Yeah, cool, man. So instead of, like I said, I was very busy this morning. So instead of me trying to figure out what I was going to do and then come and try to make the video, it was just too much. So I just decided to come on this live instead. Let me show you what I was working on. This is one of the things I was working on. But basically I'm going to be looking at what is this? Points, rebounds, and assists. I think this is the points, rebounds, and assists. I just dragged it in here. But I'm going to have different sheets, and I'm going to have different players. And this is actually being set up more for like playoffs and for college basketball, especially for March Madness. But more than anything, it's going to be for the playoffs. But let me just show you what this does. So this is the player, the team, the current line, and then it gives us the current odds, what the streak is. And these are where the posters come from. Whenever we post these posters, that's where this data is coming from the streaks. So then this tells us the head-to-head trends, the last 5 days, the last 10 days, what's their average hit rate for this line, and then if there's any edge. And the way that this edge is created is that we look at the defensive rank versus that position. So, for example, for this case is Buzelis from the Bulls. I don't know what position he plays, but let's just say he played center, which I think he does. This defensive team ranks 6th against centers. So this is not a good play. Right away, I'm going to just delete this. But obviously, I'm not going to do this one by one. I'm going to have a bunch of scripts and scrapers that are going to filter all this crap out for me, and they're going to give me the top plays. So again, defensive position, what's the edge for this player? What's his average? What's his last 10 games? And all this stuff. So again, this is just something I was working on. You can see there's a bunch of numbers here. But let me see if I can find one right away that has an edge. 1.1. So this one says 1.1. Let's just take a quick glance at this. Jokic. Okay, so right away it says his line is 50.5. His odds are 120. And then his average is 51.5. So that's why the edge, and then they have a very weak defense. However, I'm not going to take this. I'm just letting you know. The reason I'm not taking this is that they played yesterday, so he's going to be tired. So there's a lot of things you used to have to do the research for. Anyways, this is the player props. This is the stuff that I was working on, and it's going to get cleaned up, and it's going to look a lot better. What's up? Just got done with a 10-hour shift. So busy, but I always listen. Let's get it today, guys. Yeah, cool, man. Appreciate you being here. So let's get into it, guys. I have, again, 72. I got to turn off this damn notification from Slack. Anyway, 72 and 19 run in the last 6 days, 79% hit rate. Yesterday we were at an 84% hit rate, and this 7 losses brought us down to 79. These are all the wins that I shared on the live yesterday. So that was a hit. This was a win. Another winner. Another winner. Another winner. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. So those were all winners. And then these were the losers. I had Wichita State on the under. And then this one hit. This one I actually put in a VIP earlier. And then these were all the losses. So notice that all these losses, they actually had one leg that hit and the other one did not. So that's 2 things that I realized yesterday on the live is that I went too early in the game, and I took the same team too many times. So, for example, I took the Suns right here. I took the Suns right here. And then where is this? I took the Nuggets on the over right here, and then I took the over right here. So I was basically doing too many legs, too many plays with the same edge, if that makes sense. So the day before that, I had a message that said, this guy said he went 8-1 off the live. So again, that was 2 days ago, not yesterday. So yesterday, one other thing I noticed is I'm going to get right into the plays after this, but yesterday we only hit 30 comments, not 50. So I'm not going to give the free winner. And I will do this if you comment on this video, not this live, but if you see this video when it's posted later today, make sure to comment. I'm going to do 1 week free pass on the VIP if we get to 50 comments. All right, let me get into this, guys. So the sharp plays right here is telling us to take a look at the Pelicans, which I'm not touching at all. I'll tell you right now, they're pretty much out of the playoffs. And if they're not in the playoffs, I just don't trust them at all. And they're going against a decent Clippers team. But just the overall picture does say that they should be winning this game. The totals for the Pacers and the Trailblazers, I can tell you that both of these teams have shitty defense, and the Pacers have nothing to win for. So there's going to be a lot of garbage time in this game, in my opinion. So this 231 seems very low. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these. I'm just telling you right now, from this, looking at this right here, I don't like any of these sharp plays. So let me go right into this sharp movement, and then we can go from there. So this, I'm actually going to start looking at this deeply here. So the first game I'm looking at is the Celtics and the Warriors. And then the second one is the Timberwolves and the Jazz, the Raptors and the Bulls, the Hawks and the Mavericks, the Nuggets and the Grizzlies, and the Rockets and the Lakers. That's the only games I'm looking at. So let's take a look here. Let's see if anything stands out for these games. Let's see. So again, I'm doing this live. I have not done the research. All the only research I've done so far for today is I went and I said which teams need to win today, or which teams have a playoff reasoning to win. Give me 1 second, guys. This damn dog, man. All right. So we got the Warriors and the Celtics. You can see the Celtics went from 11.5 to a 13.5. So this is going in their favor. So I'm going to highlight this as Celtics. I'm going to take a deeper look at that. Also, the Warriors, I believe they played yesterday. Let me confirm that. Let's take a look here. The Warriors did not play yesterday. They played 2 days ago. Okay, so that's not going to really affect them. That's one problem with the Warriors, is that they're really struggling. They're really trying to get into the playoffs, but so are the Celtics. The Celtics are already locked in, but they're trying to get the one seed, and I believe they're trying to get the home position. I actually have notes here. So Boston is sitting on top of the second in the East, and they're still pushing for seeding and home court advantage. They're not desperate, but they're highly motivated. So both teams in this game are going to be highly motivated to win this game. I am liking the Celtics in this position. So let me take a look. Boston opened up at 11.5. They went to a 13.5. The line, the bets is 65% of the bets, 67% of the money. Okay, that's still aligning with the public, which is usually not a good sign. But the line is shifting, so that's good. Let's take another look here. The Warriors have had a much tougher schedule than the Celtics. You can see they've had the 5th worst schedule compared to the Celtics. So these ATS trends seem to matter when in that case. Celtics are still covering spreads 60% of the time. Celtics are 90% as a favorite. So this is where this information starts being handy, is you're looking at the expert insights that say 90%, and you're like, hell yeah, this is a great team. But you got to look at Golden State has had a much tougher schedule. So these guys have had the 26th easiest schedule. Okay, that's the reason. That's another reason. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're a great team. I actually have them very highly to go very deep into the playoffs. So, anyways, let's keep going here. Celtics are looking very good. They are covering spreads 60% of the time, but the Warriors are very motivated to win also. You can see their offense is struggling right here. Boston is supposed to win this by 90% chance. They have an amazing team over here. I'm not going to get into the deeper research. I've already done this. That's the reason I'm looking at this. Actually, no, I have not. Not today. Fuck. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Let me look at something else. That's the problem with being live. I want to look at something important. Give me 1 second here. Okay, all I'm doing here is I'm going into all my notes for today's games, and let's see if they popped up at all. Let's see if they're supposed to win anything or if I have any information on them. Instead of reading all that crap, I already have it broken down. So let's see. Under, Trailblazers, Thunder. No. So the Pelicans, the under on Portland, the Thunder, Trailblazers, Warriors. So I think there's not a real good edge here. I will tell you there is a lot of injuries here. Look at this. Golden State has pretty much their entire squad right here, especially with Stephen Curry sitting and Butler's been out for the season. I don't think they're going to cover their spreads, but I'll definitely take them at the money line on a parlay. So I'm going to write them down. I don't think they'll cover this huge spread of, especially because Warriors are covering spreads. They've had a much tougher schedule, yet there's a shitload of injuries. So I might take them maybe like at the starting line at maybe like a 9.5 or money line for Boston. I don't know if they're that highly motivated. I mean, if they want home court advantage, they are. All right, let's keep going now. Let's go to the next game. So Celtics and Warriors. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more games to go through. All right, so let's take a look here. Next one is the Timberwolves and the Jazz. Minnesota played yesterday. Jazz has a 1-day rest advantage. And the Minnesota is on that tight range between 5 and 6 for the seeding in the playoffs in the West. So there's multiple teams right behind them. So every win helps their positioning. So they are motivated to win this game. However, they're on a back-to-back. Let's see. This line didn't shift at all, even though this is one big problem I can already see. If 66% of the money and 58% of the bets, or vice versa, 66% of the bets, 55% of the money is coming in on Minnesota, why is this line stuck at a 12.5? And I understand why it's a large spread, but the other thing, look at this. They've had one of the easiest schedules, pretty much the 4th easiest schedule on the board, and they're only covering spreads 40% of the time. That's not a good sign. Utah does have a lot of injuries. These guys are trash on offense. They are supposed to win this game, but that's a huge spread. So I'll probably take them at the money line. There's no way I'll touch this. There's no way I'll touch this spread at all. Not even at a -2.5 or nothing like that. Let's take a look at their Anthony Edwards is questionable. Actually, he's out, so that's even worse. There's no way I'll touch this game if it's not a money line play. That's only if I don't find anything else. But I probably won't touch this, to be honest. Let me write this down. Edwards is out. So Edwards is out. I might just skip that game entirely. But because of all these injuries and just because I know the Jazz are straight fucking garbage, I might go with them. Just on the fade level. Let's go. Let's see what else is next. Raptors and Bulls. So Raptors are supposed to win by 6. Damn, man, I got a fucking itchy. Give me a second. All right, Raptors are supposed to win by 6, 120 to 114. What do we got here? Toronto did go from a 5.5 to 7.5. Toronto is mixed between 5th and 8th position. They're trying to avoid that 9th and 10th position, which there's a big difference here between. There's a big difference getting 5th or 6th rather than 8th and 9th, because the lower you go on the ranking, that means that you're gonna go and face the tougher teams. If you get somewhere in the middle, you get to face weaker teams in the playoffs. So they definitely are very highly motivated to win this game. They did go from a 5.5 to 7.5. Chicago has just been straight tanking lately. The Bulls have a very easy schedule here compared to the Raptors, but Raptors are only covering the spread 40% of the time. The projected score is Raptors to win by 6. They have a much better team overall. Look at the defense on the Bulls. They just suck. Toronto, 73% chance they're going to win this. Look at all the injuries here. These two guys really don't mean much for as far as the points, but these guys do over here. That's a nice. I think this is a good one. I'll probably take the Raptors. I'm not sure on how I'll take them. Either money line, or I'll probably buy it all the way back to like just because they don't cover spreads that much over here, 40%, and Bulls are covering spreads. Raptors have had a tougher schedule. They do have a lot of injuries. So I might take this. I don't know. I'll have to look at the odds, but I might take this minus 4.5 for money line, something like that. What's up, Joey? Appreciate you, man. What's up, Scott? Yeah, so I like Toronto. I don't know how I'm going to take it exactly, though. Let's go back. Let's go to the next game. The next game I'm looking at is the Hawks and the Mavericks. None of these are on a back-to-back. Mavericks are pretty much done for the season. They have no reason to play this game at all. And the Hawks are right in that range between 8 and 9 play-in range. So they're in a must-win situation here. Okay, so 6, they started at 6.5, went to 8.5. The public aligns with them also. You can see they've been one of the best teams to cover the spreads 90% of the time. Mavericks are just straight trash, and they've had one of the easiest schedules. Hawks have been very good recently, actually. And like I said, they've been one of the best teams in the league to cover spreads. Projections are 7.5. I really like this one. I'll probably take them at the opening line at the minus 6.5. Let's take a look. Mavericks pretty much have a lot of injuries here. Irving has been out. Lively's been out. Gafford, Martin. So, yeah, I'll probably take Atlanta, actually. Either money line or the original opening line of 6.5, something like that. Let me see here. Any player props you like? I haven't done any player props today. I do have a list of players that I'm looking at, but I have not touched it at all. All right. I got 2 more games to go through, guys. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. We got the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. If you haven't done so, guys, go to the link in the description. Actually, I don't have it listed there. I'm doing the live betting stuff, and this is what I'm doing here. I'll go through the last 2 games real quick after this, but I wanted to show you. This is the tool that I've been using for live betting. And if you guys want this tool, it's part of the Sharp Edge. And this is what I've been hitting with. So basically it just gives you all the line moves. You can see there's a bunch of movement already. All these games have line movement. And then when the games come live, all these odds start moving and shifting and stuff like that. So It's been very, very powerful for us. All right, last two games I'm looking at is the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. I actually do have three props right here on this notes that I have. Look at Jaden McDaniels for rebounds and assists, John Collins for rebounds, and Cooper Flag for rebounds and assists. You guys want to check that out. I also showed you this entire sheet over here where there's a bunch of stuff here. I'm not going to get into all this. I'm still filtering stuff out and trying to see how to best play this, but definitely something to take a look at. All right, let me get back over here. We got two more games to go through, the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. So the Nuggets played yesterday. Memphis is pretty much out. The reason that Denver is battling for the 4th and 6th cluster out in the West, and they're trying to get the better seeding. Okay, so they do have something to fight for, but the problem is, like I said, they played yesterday, so they're on a back-to-back. Grizzlies is tired, or sorry. The only thing too also is that Grizzlies have all these people that are out, so this should be a pretty easy game. 85% chance for Denver. Grizzlies have had literally one of the best schedules, and they still suck. And that's because of all the injuries. So the Nuggets are the 13th. The line is not shifting at all. So the books and the people, everybody, look how much money is coming in. 75% of the bets, 80% of the money is coming in on Denver, and the line is just stuck right there. So I don't like to see that, especially because they're on a back-to-back. So no. I don't know how I'm going to play this. I'll probably go, if it's way too expensive, I'll just probably catch this live, but I'll probably just do Denver live, and hopefully they go down. So the way I do this is I'll be watching the game, or I'll put myself on alert on my phone. And then when Denver starts playing, I get the alert. And then after every quarter and beginning of every quarter, I start getting alerts. And then I'll start looking at the score. And if at any point they go down, where it's great odds for the money line, then I'll take them. That's how I'll probably play this. All right. We got the Rockets and the Lakers. I definitely don't want these guys to mess up my damn parlay. So, like, for example, if I did the Nuggets money line and the Boston money line, more than likely they're gonna fuck that up. So that's why I don't mess around with that. I'm gonna probably do straight up if they go down at any point in the game, which they should, because they're, like I said, they're on a back-to-back. So we'll see how that goes. All right, the last one is the Rockets and the Lakers. They're not on a back-to-back, either one of them. Rockets are supposed to win this by 2. It does say both teams are fighting for between the 3rd and 6th range in the West. So this is pretty much both teams are fighting hard to get better position. Houston did go from a 1.5 to 2.5, so the line is shifting in their favor. Lakers have had a tougher schedule, but damn, they're covering spreads like crazy too. Okay. Rockets are supposed to win by 3, projection-wise. 62% chance they win straight up. Van Vliet has been out, so these numbers are all baked in. And then it looks like Luka and everybody's playing. Let me make sure on that. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like everybody's playing. So it's going to be a tough game for Houston for sure. It's not going to be easy, especially if they both want to be in the playoffs, or better positioning, I should say. So I don't know. I don't think I like this one. I don't like this one. I think there's no edge in this game, to be honest. There's nothing that I see that stands out. The only small little movement here, it's going against the reverse line move, but it's not enough, especially with this ATS trend over here, and Lakers having a better schedule, and they're both fighting to be in it. Look at this. It's too close to call, in my opinion. I'm going to stay away. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this one. Let's see what we got. I'll take a quick glance at college. Let's just see if anything stands out. Miami, Ohio is supposed to win by 7. Forest Demons burned us last time. Wake Forest burned us last time. We got the Redbirds right there supposed to win. Valley Wolverines supposed to win. New Mexico Lobos are supposed to win. Wolfpack. So the ones that stand out are Wolfpack, Lobos, Demons, and Miami, Ohio. Wake Forest. Let's see. Lobos, Wolfpack. And I'll take a look at the California Golden Bears. Let's take a look. Cal. No, I'm not touching this. All right. So I'm not gonna look at this. I'll look at this later and I'll come back. One last thing I'll talk about is the player props from the list that I was sent this morning from the person that works with me. So let me take a look here. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Let me load this up. Oh yeah, can't do that. Give me 1 second. All right, let me know if you guys want me to see the player props. You want to see that? I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll be hopping off. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 player props. I'll take a look at a couple. Let's take a look. So just so you know, I am going to go back after this live, and I'm going to go back and look at these games. It's going to be the Pelicans, which I doubt I'm going to touch because they don't have no motivation. We got Portland and Indiana on the under. I'm probably going to stay away from that too because just historically in the last 2 weeks, a lot of games have been going on the over dramatically. The Thunder the spread is too big. It's at 19. They're playing the Brooklyn Nets. So I'm not liking any of those, actually. I'm not going to look at any of those. All right. Let me look through these, and then we'll stop there. All right. So we got... All right. We got Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson. He's hit this 90% of the time. He's exceeded this 21.5, 8 straight games in a row. His defense against his position, which is PF, it's pretty decent. 16, 13, and 27 assists allowed. Head-to-head, he's already hit this line. In the last 20, he's very decent as well. Let me see how many minutes he's playing. He's playing over 25 minutes, so that's decent. The other teams that have played, the other players that have played against this team in this position are hitting pretty nicely also. And more than anything, this dude's hitting at a very high rate. So more than likely, I'll take this one. DraftKings and all that stuff doesn't really have it too bad. It's minus 200 for DraftKings. So that's one of them I might take a look at. I'm not going to confirm these because I'm going to take a closer look at them, but I'll open them up. All right, we got Amen Thompson. Like I said, Rockets are really struggling or really tough to. They're fighting hard to be in the playoffs, so this is a decent one already, just for that reason. He's failed to exceed this 31.5, so this line is very high, but we bought it all the way back to 24.5. So that's the reason you see these numbers so green over here, because we're buying it back dramatically. Over the last 20, he's not been decent at all. But in the last 10, he has. And then head-to-head, he's hit this line. SF. Rebounds allowed. He's not allowed out too many rebounds, but I don't think he's a big-time rebounder. He's more of a – not sure. He's playing a lot of damn minutes, though, 30-plus minutes. And, I don't know. All right, guys, I'm kind of worn out here. So – You want to take a look at this one? I'll give you the rest of the players. I'm not gonna go through them right now. I have to take a break, and then I'll look at them later. Let's see, 4, 5. I'm gonna give you the names. You guys could take a look at them if you want. All right, so let's see. Cooper Flag. So Cooper Flag over 24.5. That's what I'm looking at. We got Trey Murphy the third. Like I said, Pelicans are supposed to win this game. I'm not touching it though, but that goes in alignment with that. These are all points, rebounds, and assists, by the way. And then you got this dude, Okonogo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And then we got Christian Bond, over 14.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Gigi Jackson, over 19.5. And then we have Amen Thompson. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being here, man. I've been on for about 30 minutes, so that's what I wanted to target for. Appreciate you guys. So let me just recap exactly what I'm going to look at for sure. So I'm really liking Boston. More than likely, I'll take that either at the -9.5 or the money line, depending on the odds. I like the Timberwolves, but I'm not going to touch the spread because Edwards is out. I like the Raptors either on the money line or the -4.5. I got to take a look at the odds. I like Atlanta a lot. More than likely, I'm going to take them either very close to the current line or the -6.5. And then I'm going to take Denver. But the only reason I'll take Denver is if they start losing the game and I get good odds on the live play, on the money line. I'm not going to touch the spread on that one at all. And then I'm going to take a look at these players: Amen Thompson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Christian Bond from Denver, Okunagu, Trey Murphy, and Cooper Flag. All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. If you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. Check out the free picks. Thank you so much. Let's have a great day.